Hello everyone. So today I'm going to make a video on my opinion on SM Entertainment. I believe SM has obviously a lot of cons and everyone knows about them, but I do believe they have a lot of pros as well. I think SM is a pretty decent company when it comes to like producing idols. Treatment is a different thing, but I think quality of music is very good. So let's just get into it. The first pro I have is that SM Entertainment is very good at individualizing every group they release. They're not that type of company where if they have one successful group, their next group is going to be a copycat of the previous group. In SM, you never really see a lot of people comparing groups with each other in SM. They might compare groups with other companies, but they won't really compare it with SM. I mean, you'll have those few cases there will be, but like generally you don't. For example, I would give Girls' Generation and FX. When Girls' Generation became huge, they had the giant hype and everything, SM could have released another girl group very similar to Girls' Generation, but they didn't. SM had a completely different discography, a little more for it's very unique, and I love that about FX. And I really like that about SM, how they like to change things up and not always go with what society is looking for. Like they want to experiment. And from SNSD to Red FX to Red Velvet, none of those groups are very similar. They all have their own taste, they all have their own flavor, they all have their own idea behind them, and it's very interesting. It's like a lot of thought has been put around every single group. Same thing with boy groups. Super Junior, Shiny, very different. Very different. Shiny has basically its own style. Super Junior has its own style. EXO and Shiny, very different. They both have their own distinct styles. NCT, very different from all three of them. They have a whole different construction with their whole unlimited member concept. Plus their music is, oof, it's all over the place. Like I love NCT so much, but their music is so different and so like ahead of its time right now. And I believe they're gonna do great things. But that's why I really love about SM, how every single one of their groups is very individualized. Number two, I think, in my opinion, I believe that SM has the best vocal trainers in their company. Like, I don't know what they're doing, but everyone knows SM has powerhouse vocals. But half of the work, a lot of SM trainees are brought in when they're really young. Yes, there are exceptions, but a lot of them are brought in when they're really young. And that, like, half the work is natural, but half the work is training. If someone is trained their whole life to be a musician, to be a singer, and then another person is naturally a good singer, but they've never trained, that person who's trained their entire life might even be better than the person who's naturally a better singer because they haven't trained their vocals. Companies, they try to implement their own style into the vocals and kind of force their artists to fit that style. I'm not saying it's bad, but you can tell it's not there. It's like, I would give an example like JYP's Jihyo. I love her vocals. She's such a powerhouse vocalist. But you can tell she's not using her natural voice because there have been instances and stages where she has accidentally shifted to her lower register and she sounds so awesome, but then she has to switch back to her higher register to have that little cutesy sound. And I'm just like, please stop. Don't do that. Like, just sing in your natural voice. Momo is another example. God, in 16 she had such a nice voice, but then now she can barely hold a note because they make her do that voice, you know? It's just like the other companies, they kind of force the people to fit them. And I feel I could say that the same thing for YG as well. But for SM, they kind of find people who have the natural talent and then train them in their natural talent to the optimal results. So like every main vocal in SM is a main vocal. Like every main vocal in SM, every lead vocal, every side vocal has that talent where they know how to be a vocalist. They're not just a vocalist because they can like just sing a little bit. No, they're all very talented, and I feel like SM is a very good company when it comes to vocals and vocal trainings. Look at NCT. They have what, 18 members now, and every single one of their vocalists are strong vocalists. Like, don't, like, you can't even find one vocalist in NCT that's bad, and they have like amazing. And look at Super Junior. they have a giant group, but everyone who's a vocalist in Super Junior is amazing. They're very good at finding talent and training that talent to be its best. SM also, I think, has some of the best dancers in K-pop. I wouldn't say they have like the best, because there's some, I feel like every group has that one dancer which is awesome, but I feel like SM is a company that has consistently in every group had that one or two dancers that have just blown everyone's minds. We have legends like Taemin, who've literally revolutionized the dancing industry in K-pop, and it's so like it's awesome. And I think SM is just really good at training, as I said in the last part. They're very good at training their idols to be like good at what they are naturally. I also want to say like props to SM for being one of the few companies that have consistently stayed relevant for all the years they've been around. And you can say that for JYP and YG as well. Because there are a lot of companies that have like really big groups, but then after that group they really have nothing else, like that's it. But SM constantly has released successful groups one after another and always had a very successful time, and they're known to be like, I would technically consider them the number one company, because when you look at their sales charts and when you look at their things, their income is not coming from one group and then all the other groups just there. Their income isn't coming from like one or two groups. Their income is literally coming from groups, solo artists, everything they do. Their income is very well spread out. So it's a very stable company. They're not relying on one group to like keep them up there. They're very stable. Like if they lose one group, they have another group to substitute it. Now let's talk about the cons. Oof, or a lot of things that SM has done in the past that you're just like, that's shady. Interesting. But I mean, most people already know on it, but I'm just gonna like talk about the high points that I personally think are like the biggest deal, and the things that are more general, not specific issues, but more general. If you guys want me to talk about specific issues, I shall do that. Let's talk about the first thing that just really bothers me about SM. You know how I said they're good at staying relevant and each group has very individualistic? Yeah, that doesn't matter when you freaking give up on all your groups as soon as a new group comes out. Like, as soon as Red Velvet came out, FX who? As soon as EXO came out, oh, Shiny who? As soon as NCT came out, they kind of just pushed EXO to the corner. As soon as the next girl group is gonna debut, they're gonna push Red Velvet to the corner. Like, it's just what they've been doing ever since they've started. And honestly, as much as I understand where they're coming from, I don't think personally as a fan I'm into it, but I understand the business side because I'm a business student and I get where they're coming from. But like at the same time, I think they're really losing out on potential because NCT is such a like it's such a heavy concept. It's like a lot of people still hate on it and a lot of people think it's weird, and I understand it's weird, but that's why they're doing it, to market it so much, to release it so much that people are gonna forget about the unlimited member concept and like be like, wow, I love them so much. And it's just something they have to work on. It's not like any other regular boy or girl group where they can just like release one group, release 2 songs a year, then people will be like, oh, I love this new group. No, they literally have such a complex idea. They have You, they have 127, they have Dream, but then now they're coming up with China. It's like they have so many things coming out. It's like they need to be on top of it, because if they start losing momentum, like fans are gonna be like reminded that how complicated it is and they're gonna leave, you know. Like it's they have to get constant, like it's just something they have to constantly work on. And right now I think SM is losing money with NCT because although NCT is very popular, their sales are like they're good, but they're just not, you know, the amount of dollars SM has put into NCT, I don't think they're making the money back right now. But I think in the long run they're gonna be really, really successful. I think the second one, which I obviously everyone knows about, is treatment. This is just this is disgusting. Like the way SM has treated all the way from the TVXQ members to the XL members to the NCT members, and it's just like constantly it's really harsh. Like I think SM has a reputation of overworking their members and constantly making them work when they're not in a good physical or like mental state. Like I feel like a lot of idols are forced to work in a bad mental state, like, and honestly I don't agree with that, but at the same time that's their job. It's like they can't just, it's something that they have to overcome and deal with. And yeah, but I feel like physical state is also very important. Like you can't, like they've forced members of groups to dance with broken legs and broken feet and like just arm issue. Like it's just, it's really sad, and they're very strict. Like I remember that one video where I saw where I think it was Irene and Sogi. I don't know who the two members were, I can't remember, but it was two Red Velvet members and Taeyeon from Soyeonshide, and they're all sitting and they're eating ice cream, and then Taeyeon like turns around and she's like, to her manager, she's like, don't glare at them, let them eat ice cream. I'm like, come on, y'all. Like, let them eat ice cream. Like, this is disgusting. Like, and then every, like, and basically every NCT video, they keep on looking at they keep on looking at the sides and like V lives, and then seeing their managers like get mad at them. They just shift the topic immediately, and it's just like, y'all are really harsh. I just like SM has always had a bad reputation of treating their artists and SM trainees, like especially Hedin. She just left last year, I think, the SM rookie trainee. And she talked about how she still copes with so much anxiety, depression, like eating disorders because of what she had to go through. And that's not even just SM, that's just general the K-pop industry. But then again, SM is the one who started that. SM was the first company to start that, so I feel like, oh my god, y'all, I put some sausages, some hot dogs in the grill. Low-key think they're burning, so I'll be right back. I believe every K-pop company is a problem. Like they all have their own issues. There's no perfect company. I don't care what BTS fans say. But if you've been a fan of BTS for longer than 2 days, you know that Big Hit's not that amazing of a company. Like when you only have one group under your belt, then I'm sure you're not gonna have that many problems as someone like SM, JYP, YG, where they all have like 4 or 5 groups. You know, like it's much more work. So, but then again, if you're gonna blame any company for mistreatment, it's gonna be SM, because they're the ones who started it. Like they're the ones who started the training system and debuted the first group under the training system, and then that got popular and that started the whole training system trend. So I mean, if you're gonna blame anyone, might as well blame SM. The last major thing I think SM is really bad at is how they handle controversies. I know they know how to handle it, but they just don't. Instead of actually taking on controversies head on and apologizing or saying something, they usually either avoid it, or whenever they do somehow make a statement, it's just not a good statement. Like, I just don't know what they're doing. It's not that hard to sometimes, send a little apology video. I think SM believes that if they wait long enough, that people will forget. But sometimes their artists do stuff that really offend people, and it's something that they should apologize for. And although I don't hate the artist, I feel like if they apologized, the people who have turned negatively towards the artist will come back with an apology. And at least fans will have a basis of being like, oh, at least they apologized, instead of just having no words to defend them. I think Big Hit does a really good job of handling controversies, because whenever BTS gets in a really big controversy, for example, the war hormone controversy or the Japan controversy, they came out with a very professional, appropriate statement to handle those. And, I think that's the best they could do. and they handled it well, versus a lot of companies, not just SM, they kind of just shove everything under a rug, just think that everything's gonna go fine, but actually it probably makes it worse by just ignoring situations. Okay, so this is just a small explanation and a quick explanation of like the major points that I personally find annoying about SM. I'm sure I know there are like 50 more things that are bad and good about SM, and if I miss something, please let me know. But if you want to make, I can easily make a video about each one of these in full and like with examples and full explanations, but this was just a few quick things. I could also make this video about Cube, Pledis, JYP, YG, literally any other company, because not every company is an angel. Not every company is also the devil, you know? They're good and bad of every company, and I believe that sometimes you need to talk about both the good, but sometimes you also need to talk about the bad, you know? So, yeah, hope you liked it.